I mean, I've seen some real strange problems before, but this one is leaving me kind of stumped. And as we get through the video, you'll begin to understand what I'm up against. Because, well, wait till you see it. Well, it came in saying no color, which it has color. It's just not right. It's bizarre. Maybe somebody's been in and done some work on this before. I've got a UVW1800. He's got that on there wrong. It's a UVW1800 Betacam deck in for service. It says it does not record in color. It says composite component or green tone. The composite input's not appearing to be working. I've got a color bars plugged into it now, and it tells me that alarm video is not detected on my screen. I hit the record button. So I'm not even getting any video going in. I'm feeding it color bars, and I'm not getting any signal getting into the machine itself. Well, that would explain why it doesn't record. He said it records in black and white, but I'm not even getting anything into the composite input on this unit. I do have the switch set for composite. If I connect it into the component input, which is, this is the composite signal. If I connect it into the Y input on the component, and I select component input, I get an incorrect picture. I don't have a reference, so I'm going to get that message. But it should still record, but it's the wrong. I mean, that's the wrong colors. But I'm feeding it into the, into the Y input. I'm feeding a composite signal into a Y input. When I feed into the video input, it doesn't work. That's the composite, that's the Y input. If I feed it into the composite input and switch it on the front to composite, it's not detecting anything. Feed it color bars from another camera on the S video, and that's what I get. I get a green signal. Yeah, this is certainly got a problem, that's for sure. Maybe I'll see first of all whether it even plays. Ah, play. Okay, it's playing fine. So playback on this is perfect. That tape's got lots of dropouts and, well, yeah, the tape is in bad shape. That's my throwaway tape that looks like it's clogged the heads, doesn't it? But I got a tape that's got some damage. That's what's causing that. I'll try cleaning tape. That's really the only way to clean these heads properly. It says to play it for, I think, 10 seconds. I'll play it for 10 seconds here. Yeah, that fixed the playback problem. Dirty heads. Pretty much a must for cleaning these type of machines that have metal tapes. So this is for Betacam and Betacam SP decks. Very hard to get these days, but if the heads get clogged up, you won't have a picture. Now it's playing properly, but that doesn't solve the recording problem. It still is not inputting video correctly. That's what the problem with this one is. I just want to make sure that it does indeed play, which it does. Video is, this is S video going in, it's green, and that's the problem. So I want to make sure that the cards are seated properly. All the video boards are back here. Remove that clamp. I'm just going to pop the boards out and pop them back in. Make sure that everything's seated properly. Turn the power back on and see whether I still get a green picture, which I do, so it's not a card seating problem. I'll check the voltage regulators here and see whether there's any missing voltages. There's a couple of regulators down here. Got 12 volts on the input, 9 volts on the output, negative 12 on the input, negative 9 on the output, so those are okay. I believe the back panel plugs into this motherboard here. There's a little jumper cable, so I'm just going to go through with the scope and see whether I can actually even see any video that's coming onto this board here. I don't even know where the switching's done on this, whether it's probably done on one of those other boards. We may have a board problem on this unit. I don't have any data on these units, right? So it makes it pretty difficult when you're working blind, trying to figure out what's working and what's not. I mean, there's no video from the composite input that I can see getting into the circuit. Component input, if I plug a signal into component, I've got video, but nothing from composite, and the S video is all green. And the fellow that owns this one here, he's in the archiving business, and he's probably only used it like me for playback, because really we're not really putting anything onto Betacam these days. These machines are being used for archiving, for playback. In this case, he has a client that wants something put onto Beta, and he went to try to make a recording and found the machine wasn't working. I have not tried the component input. We're going to try that, but as it sits now, when it's switched to composite, there's no video input whatsoever. When I switch it to S video, I get a green screen. I'll show you guys what I'm getting. The input switch is switched to composite. There's a composite signal going in, color bars, and there's no video whatsoever. If I switch it to S video, there's color bars going into S video, and I just get a green screen. If I take the composite signal and I plug it into the Y input for component and switch it to component, I get color bars. Oh, they don't look right. That's on the Y input, not the video input, but the Y input. It's giving me color bars. It's giving me a color signal. Now, I have not tried to record this, but it is giving me a color signal through the component input. And they don't look right. Like, it looks noisy. But we shouldn't be seeing any color on this. This should just be luminance, because the chroma should be on separate red and blue inputs. There's 3 jacks on the back, 3 BNCs, one for Y, one for R minus Y, and the other for B minus Y. But it's accepting the composite signal, and I'm getting that, which it's noisy. Like it's I don't know how it comes across on the camera, but it's noisy. I don't know whether it could be capacitors in the power supply, I guess, that are starting to go bad. Maybe that's why it's not working. It's about the first thing I would think of as a power supply issue that may be causing this. But the problem is the machine works. That's the thing. I put a tape in it, it plays perfect. So if it was a power supply issue, you would think that it would affect the operation of the machine on playback and not just looping video through it. If I plug it into the non-supered output, we get, now that's normal, right? Because I'm not giving it reference video, so that's normal. But if I record that, it should play back fine. And I could record it on this tape that I've got here that's just like kind of a test tape. It's got lots of damage to it. Right, there's playback. So playback's perfect. I would think if there was an issue with the power supply that we would see it on playback. But as you can see, playback is perfect. If I rewind this tape back to the beginning, I'll just try to record color bars for a couple seconds on this tape at the beginning, because this is a service test tape. It's got some damage to it. It'll probably clog the heads. This one's been eaten a couple times in a machine that's hungry. Another one of my machines that I've been working on that is got some issues. So if I hit record, oh, you know what? I think I got the tab cut out on this one, so it won't go into record. So record inhibit. I gotta reset the tab. I'll record on here for a few seconds. Okay. You're recorded. Till my heads get clogged up. Well, it recorded there. That's and of course the heads get clogged up because, well, this tape is got a bit of damage at the beginning of it. It's an old tape. But it should clear themselves up here in a second. I think my luminance head's clogged up now. That's just the chroma. I'll just try pushing the head cleaning wheel up against the head drum and see if it'll clear the clog. That's better. See? See? It is better. It's just both the luminance heads got clogged. I'm just pushing the little cleaning wheel that's on here that tries to clean the head whenever the tape is loaded and unloaded. See if that'll clear it off. What I really need to do is cut off that section of tape that's damaged on this. It's right at the beginning. It got eaten in a machine. And there we go. Now it's clear. Now here's something very interesting. When I plug in component video, this is component, I'm feeding it now. The Y is going into the Y, the red into the red input, and the blue into the blue input, and I'm getting a beautiful black and white picture. And it is selected component input. If I select it to composite, I get nothing. And there's nothing plugged into composite now, but if I plug a signal into composite, I get nothing. It's like the component input has been wired up as composite. Isn't that really, really bizarre on this unit? If I plug a composite signal in to the Y input, I get color bars. Doesn't look good. It's noisy, but I've got color. So the Y input is processing composite. It's not processing the other inputs. What happens if I unplug? Oh, what's going on there? Oh, that just the plug came out. The blue and the red input are doing nothing. I should be getting severe interference because the blue and the red input are going to the component inputs from the color bar generator. and then I plug the other one in here. See, I'm getting black and white. That is okay. Something's wrong with the I/O interface on this thing. The I/O interface is screwed. That is really, really bizarre. Now, the guy that owns it, I don't know that he's ever made any recordings on it. Like, he may not have ever made any recordings on this machine because he's in the archiving business. He may have only been using it for playback. I'll have to ask him that. But that's weird that the component input is acting like a composite input. The composite input's doing absolutely nothing. I wonder if the switch is bad. It's really strange. Like, that's perfect. The black and white portion from the color bar generator is absolutely perfect over the component input. When I plug a composite in, I should not have any color. That should be a black and white picture. Because that input should not be accepting any chroma. It should only be accepting luminance. I don't know. I'm going to have to talk to the guy that owns this thing. I don't know. Like, I don't know the history of it. I think he bought it used, and like most of these machines, most of these guys that are buying this stuff, they pick this stuff up used to use it for conversion and so forth. And I don't know that this machine hasn't been worked on before. I mean, it's almost like, you know, the input switch isn't doing what it's supposed to. When it's on composite mode, it's not picking up anything from the composite input. When it's on component mode, it's receiving a composite signal on the Y input and nothing on the red or the blue inputs. Nothing at all, right? So if you give it a component signal, it's black and white. Give it a composite signal over the Y input and I've got color. It's very weird. And the S-video input's not working. It's just giving me a green picture from the S-video. Almost like someone swapped a board and, you know, grabbed a board from a different model and slapped it in to make it work. Kind of like, you know, when I was working on my EVS 7000, and I swapped the bottom board because one of them, the display wasn't working properly. It was kind of weak, and I swapped the display board. And when I swapped the display board, okay, the display worked, but all the on-screen graphics were wrong. The menus were completely wrong. The menus were missing. And it's like, okay, the boards are the same, but obviously the firmware or something is different because something wasn't the same on those boards. I had to swap it back. And that's almost what I'm looking at here. It's like, did somebody swap a board? Was there a bad board and someone took another machine and swapped boards? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. That's composite signal plugged in to the component Y input. The composite inputs are back here. If I move it over to the composite input, I got nothing. When I switch the front input to composite, I get nothing. I get nothing at all. Go back to the Y input, select component, and I've got a color picture. That's weird. It would probably be this board here if someone swapped boards. Either that or there's something, maybe someone swapped the front panel and the switching is different. I don't know. This is weird. The machine works. Other than that, like, the machine's functional. It records. I mean, I recorded color bars on it. It records and plays. Here's playback. You see, it recorded color bars fine. That was what was on the tape before. Oh, look fine there. That was just recorded on this machine a few minutes ago on the end of the tape. I mean, it's recording color. It's recording composite, but it's recording it on the Y input. I guess I'm going to leave it at this point until I can find out more history on this machine. I don't know if it's been modified or whether someone's put a different board in it. Did it ever work? These are the questions I have to ask. Was this machine ever, like, did he ever make a recording on it before? Has he only been playing it back? It may have he may have bought it and it was somebody had modded it or changed the board or something before he got it. And there's some dropouts at the end of the tape. Bunch of little creases and stuff, and that's the end of the tape. It was a blunt edit. But you can see it's recording, so it's recording in color. So I'm going to leave it at this because I have no idea what's going on with this thing. I have a sneaking suspicion that it may have had a board swap and it's not the same board. Or maybe the front panel was changed and it's not configured the same, but it's certainly not selecting the composite input. Instead, the Y input is composite and the S input doesn't work. Something's bizarre. Very bizarre. So it's playing the tape fine. And this is where I did the color bar cut in. Just up here at the end of the tape. That part's working. I did find a problem with it though. It's not accepting large tapes. I'll show you. So I'll eject the tape. I've got a large Betacam tape, and it's not, the reels are not changing. It's going to kick. The reels are not moving out. So that part is gummed up. We can certainly address that problem. I'll pull the basket out and lubricate the gears that normally stick in here. So we'll power it off. Cat is watching me. Cat wants to come and pay me a visit. Oh, there the cat comes in here. Hello, kitty cat. This is my noisy cat. This is my noisy cat. Meow. And the cats aren't allowed out in here because there's too many things they can get into. Right? Go back in the house. Cat doesn't want to go back in the house. So we'll unplug, power's off, unplug the cassette elevator, lift it out of the way, and this is sticking. So we're going to throw some grease on here. I'm going to put it into diagnostics mode and operate it manually. The grease dries out, then the gear starts to bind and it gets stuck at the end of its travel. So this needs to be done on all these machines. I had to do this to mine. When I got it, it was gummed up. I think probably most of them are in this state because many were not used with the large tapes, they were just used with smaller cassettes. So if I turn on the power and I put it into test mode, that's not test mode. Where are we here? Down to servo check. Motor check. Reel position. I should operate this thing now. We'll just do that. I'm just holding the button in the reel detect mode. I did a video on this if you guys want to look it up on how to enter the test mode and how to do this. It's basically hold the menu and the left arrow key together or tap them together and it'll go into test motor. Then go to servo check, motors, and this is the real position motor. And put some lubricant on there and just run it back and forth. That'll free everything up that's sticking. And I can get out of that by tapping the menu key again. I'll shut off the power. We'll put the loader in and see if it'll accept the large tape. Right now the loading motor is in a partial loaded position, so I'll bring that back by tapping the left arrow and go down to servo check, motor check, and this will be threading. We'll hit the down arrow key for unthreading. Here we go. Up arrow key for threading. Okay, threading motor is now back to home position. Ah, it's still sticking. I guess I'm going to have to put some more lubricant on there. I'll grease the rails here. Go try that again. There, that's what it's supposed to do. Color bars look perfect. This was done, a film that was I transferred, and after the film was transferred, the fellow just said, toss the tape. Well, I'll keep the tape for a test tape. And that's just what I did. It's got color bars on at the beginning. It was a film done by a local filmmaker, which I obviously can't show you because copyright exists, but I can show the color bars. When I switch it in and out of E to E mode, everything's behaving as it should. I'll load a small cassette again. That threads up. If any of you guys know what the cause of this may be, why it's getting the wrong inputs, like it's recording color, right? It's recording color fine, but the composite is being input through the Y input, and the blue and the red input do nothing. You try to feed it a component signal. It's like the switching's messed up, and I don't have a manual for this thing. I haven't done any research on it, but I've been just kind of tinkering around with it today. Got the large small cassette problem fixed. It's recording color from composite. The S video is just a green image. It's like the inputs are somehow wrong. I'm thinking maybe somebody swapped the board from a different model. Like mine, for example, the 1400, I have the RGB version. This one just has YVU output. Mine has YVU or RGB switchable. So maybe someone stuck a different board in and then sold it. And, you know, maybe that's what happened. Who knows? But it's recording color. When I load up the larger tape, it's now going to accept it. The reels were all jammed up, and it's, you know, it's playing perfect, you know, absolutely perfect, and it's recording. So I don't know what else to say. Why the switch is not working right, I don't know. But if somebody else out there that's worked on these machines knows what that mystery might be, I would certainly like to hear in the comments. I'm going to leave it at this because this machine is functional, although not right. Let me know in the comments what you think. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.